So today we're going to cover the CRM and the website. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you do not have this set up, we want to get it set up as quickly as possible. This is all a part of us getting leads from Remax and other aspects of this. In fact, I've not I've gone over it with Norma, but we got some numbers from corporate that shows where the leads go and how everything's monitored, right? I mean, everybody knows that. We should be doing that on our own level. We should know where our leads are coming from and how they came to call us. For example, even at an open house, every time I meet a buyer coming into an open house, hi, how you doing? Welcome to the open house. Just curious, how did you find out about the open house? I seen it on a sign, or I seen it in the newspaper. So we know they came to the open house, right? So that's one activity to track. The other is we know what source got them to that open house. And we need to know things like that. And corporate tracks that as well. So they track the activity off of the websites. They track what Remax.com generates and et cetera, right? So we need to make sure that we have that set up so that we're generating the proper amount of business off of it. And I got to tell you, when I looked through that, I was amazed at some of the agents and some of the leads they've been getting off of those websites. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and we will jump right into this. First off, let me just ask, just out of curiosity, who here today, and you can throw it in the chat if you want, does not have their website set up? Does not have that.
I don't have my website set up. I'm Miss Benya.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. So if you don't, that's what we want to do with it, and we're going to start from the very basics. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And we'll go from there and see what we can get accomplished. All right. So we do this. All right, so the first thing you need to do is you log into Max Center. And when you log into, and it's Max, that's what they call Max Center, M-A-X, right? It's remax.net. It's where everything's at. You log in. And the very first thing I want you to do with this is you go to your profile up in the upper right-hand corner, and you go to update the profile. So you go to your profile, you go to update the profile. And from there, we want to take a look at everything you have set up and make sure that it matches the way it's supposed to. All right, we want to make sure that you have all the information in here that you're supposed to have. So you want you can look it over real quick, do the preview of it, or you can actually go through and check it, which is what I'd highly recommend. Make sure that you have all the information in here that you are supposed to have. Your contact information. On the contact information, every link is available here, right? So you can add all these different things in there if that's what you want to do. Oh my gosh. Those of you that are here today, how many of you have something on TikTok? Any of you? Any of you using TikTok? Those of you that's here today? No? All right. Anyway, so you want to make sure that all your websites, your social media sites, everything is tied into this. And you can do the drop down, add that in. So again, all we did was we went to remax.net, click on the profile, and then you come in here. Contact information is really important. Make sure you have everything in here that's supposed to be in here, right? And as well as anything else you might have. If you have another number you're using, the office number or whatever you want to put on there, you can. That generally is not a requirement, but it's a good thing to have, because if somebody calls you and you don't respond, then a lot of times they'll go to the next number, which may be the office, and at least we're not losing anything, right? If your photo, your professional details. Professional details are important because consumers go in looking for us as agents, and we need to make sure that we have everything there so that if they come looking for a specific type of person, or somebody who may have this experience, you pop up there, right? You want that. So like in my case, in specialties, you can see the list of items that are there, and you can add to that. You can put in there what you want, but please make sure it's true. If you don't have experience in it, don't put it in there, just to get activity. And then your designations and office service areas. Office service areas are going to be different for each office, obviously. And the reason that's important for you is if you look below that, it has additional service areas. And in my opinion, you don't want the additional service areas to be the same as the office service areas. So for example, if a consumer goes to the website and they're looking for somebody in McAllen, for example, if they plug in a real estate agent from McAllen, our office is going to pop up, which will generate leads for us. Not me specifically necessarily, but the office, right? If somebody was to do a search for Laguna Vista, Port Isabel, then in that case, I would pop up as an individual because that's the additional service areas. Yeah, so you want those in there, and you want them to be separate. If you have just one area and that's your only area you want to work, then make it that. But you don't need to put it in there 5 times either. Just put it in there once. If I was to list Brownsville 5 times here, doesn't mean that I'm going to get more leads out of Brownsville. Right? The system's pretty smart. It sorts all that stuff out. And then your personal details. Make sure that you have a good bio in here that can be used. For not only this, but some of the other items as well, right? And once again, your bio, if you have problems with it, you can go to Fiverr. You can go to fiverr.com and get somebody there to help you write that. That should not be a problem at all. If that's what you're trying to work on. So when we talk about your bio, for years, all I had was a Word document with a bio. That's it, right? And every time I open up a new site, every time I go to put something together, I would just cut and paste that bio in. Today, the way Google has everything set up, you don't want to do that. You can use that as the shell, but you want to make the bio fit that specific site that you're putting it in. So every bio should be different and tailored to that specific site. Like, for example, the bio that you might have on Facebook or Instagram or something like that might be different than what you have on LinkedIn, because the purpose of LinkedIn is more business related than social media, right? Still considered the same thing, but they're different purposes. Or it might be different than what you have on your website, or it might be different than what you have here because of the purpose of that specific site. And I hope that makes sense to you. And then as you look at your personal details, educational background, put in whatever you have there. Civic activities. If you're involved in any community type activities, please put them in here. Please put them in here. Anything that you might be involved in, put it in here. And the reason for that is so that you draw or possibly draw information from there, or you come up in searches if they're searching for somebody with that background. And you see there's several in here, right? And I've shared with you before that I myself I worked with the American Cancer Society Relay for Life. Did that for several years, 4 years as the logistics chair, and got a lead out of it because of letting them know that you were in real estate. You want to try to do that. Anything you're involved in, people look for things like that. And the same thing with hobbies. What do you do that somebody else might like, right? And it may not necessarily be a hobby, but anything special you have. the first thing off the top of my mind comes dog lovers, right? Because that's a special person, in my opinion. And I'm not, well, never mind. I'm not one of those, but they act different. They do things different. They take their dogs everywhere. But that's something that'll work. So on hobbies, things of that nature, plug it in here. If there's something you have, make it work for you. Make it work for you. And some of you cover some of these really well. Ties in with your social media. If you speak another language, please put that in here. Please put it in here. And if you're not good at it, you might put a note on it. But if you have, like here, a lot of times when I talk to somebody about Spanish, for example, they'll say, well, I speak Tex-Mex. Does it work? Yes. Then you might put something in there with that. When we're talking about the contact information here, I just want to throw out one other little thing here. Websites and social media sites. Every one of you have a profile on Texas Realtors. That might be something you want to add in here. Every one of you have a profile on har.com. It should be up to date. It might be something you want to add in here. So just think outside the box. You're trying to drive traffic to your website, and this is a way to try to help get that there. Anybody have any questions? So once you're through with that, then of course you'll say that. And by the way, the awards, your MLS affiliation awards, all that stuff's in here to show what's going on with it. All right, let me go back to the Max Center. All right, so that's the first step. Get that profile set up and ready to go. And then the next thing I want to go into is managing your contacts and leads. That's right here. That's your CRM, managing contacts and leads. And when we talk about managing your contacts and leads, the system that we have is, you'll hear some people refer to it as Booge, but if you, let me change this over before I mess up. There we go. You'll hear people refer to it as that, but it's a CRM. So just refer to it as a CRM, company, corporate, franchise, whatever, CRM. That's what you want. That's what this is. Everybody you meet, their name and information should go in here. So again, it starts, you have if you're on the right-hand side, you have your settings. And if you'll go to the settings first, to make sure that you have everything set up, and then start working through it. This is not something you're going to sit down in an hour and do. I'm going to tell you that. It's going to take a little bit, right? But in general, your settings for your calendar, what do you want? Set automatically, monthly, notifications every 30 minutes. Your defaults 30 minutes. You have the app. So we have the settings for that as well. When you go to the settings, you also have that little drop down I clicked on right there where it says settings pages. And I want to go there because I want to show you there's some key items here that need to be taken care of. So you have your calendar, which is what we just covered. You have your contacts and leads. And when we look at contacts and leads, and again, this is just coming off of the settings page, you have your contacts and leads. So we're not building those yet. We're just, how do we want them set up? How do you want to see them? So you have a dashboard. You can set it up that way. Your mailing label, so because you can create mailing labels out of this. How do you want that set up? Right? So you have that aspect of it. And again, we're still in contacts and leads. Here is an important page for you. So profile, settings, this settings page box will be on the left-hand side. If you'll click on that, it does a drop down. We're doing contacts and leads, notifications. And here is the important part of this. A lead assigned to me, text message. A lead offered to me, text message, right? And if you'll do that, when leads come in, you get notified via text, which is a pretty good way to do business because you click on it and you should have the Booge app on your phone. And you click on the text message, it's going to take you over to Booge and you have the opportunity to accept or decline. You can see what the lead is. Like I'd say this past week, I've had three leads that were rentals and one that was take a look at a property for sale. So rental leads are out there. If you don't want them, I'll show you where you can turn those off. I personally, if you don't want them, you don't have the time to mess with rentals, turn it off so you don't get them, right? But if you have that opportunity and you want to take that, work with it. People that are renting today will be buying tomorrow. It's just common sense. And then, but every one of these has a purpose. If you have any questions about them, please ask. App means inside the app on our phone, we'll be able to get that email. If you get an email that a lot, so I have, for example, a lead offered to me. I have both app, email, and text, or all three, if you will. So on my phone, I get a text message that says, here's a new lead. And some of you are probably getting those. And when you get that new lead, I got one yesterday. It says new lead offer is now available. Please click link to accept or decline. And it takes you back to Remax, to the Booge setting. So that comes in on the lead, right? But I also get the email portion of it, which allows you to also see it. You can turn one of those off if you wanted to and work with just one or the other. I like the text message because I want to know about it now. That's them. If the buyer clicked on a search and they said they didn't have an agent, then it gets round robin. If they say that they want you to be their agent, that'll go straight to you. So if they click on that and it goes out through the system, they're sitting in View, Montana, they click on it and say they want this, you immediately get that via text. You can respond quickly, right? You can accept it and then send them something saying, hey, I'll give you a call within the next 30 minutes or whatever, right? So it works really well, but set it up. All right, contact import. You can bring information in from Google or Microsoft. Those work. It tells you how to import down here on the bottom. Tags, and we're talking about contacts and leads. That's where we're at. Contacts and leads, and we're still working off the settings page. We haven't really gone into the beef part of this yet, but contacts and leads. A tag is nothing more than a label on that person. Nothing more than a label on there. So you choose which ones you want to use. Some of these are already in here. You can see where you might be able to change a few of them, right? But most of them are already in here. And if you want to add, you can do that. So you can see, like for example, I added Harlingen, I added inspector, friends and family. I have military, new agent. I have all that stuff in here. So on the right-hand side is where you would add a tag if you wanted to. So the purpose of the tag is for me to be able to identify people really quickly within your CRM who are new buyers, who are first-time home buyers, who are individuals that bought in 2022. And actually, that might be a really, really good tag for you. Home purchase 2022, right? So that way you have their anniversary established in there as well. But you can add a tag, and when you create that tag, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Let's say, and then you assign the color to it, whatever color you want, and just click on tag. And now you have that. Now what you need to do is you find that tag and you add the people to it. So every time I go in to do a search for somebody, and one I've used over the years is the dog lover, the pet lover, for example, right? And the reason, I'll tell you why that comes to mind. In Harlingen a few years ago, we opened up a dog park, and one of the conversations we had was, I wish I would have had a way to notify people that I know that have dogs and take them for walks and do that kind of stuff. I wish I would have had a way to identify them to let them know that this park was opening up. They had a grand opening, and they may have known from the newspaper or other sources, but I would also like to be that source, if that makes sense. And that's the whole idea of adding tags on there. And you can have as many tags as you want on somebody so that you can actually keep up with that. And you can set it up so that you're like military, for example, they should be set up within your system, especially the Corpus Christi office. If you have any military, I would tag them. Maybe even the branch might be another tag. And the reason for that is you have military activities, you have Veterans Day, times that you can reach out. That would be normal, right? The tag by branch, one of the things the military tends to celebrate is the birthday of that service. Like for the Marine Corps, it's November the 10th. So any Marines that I have tagged in here, I could actually on November the 10th or maybe the 9th, send something out to them. And I'm just thinking off the cuff with this, so please forgive me, but just off the cuff, for example, I can send something out on the 9th, send them a barcode for Starbucks. Go to Starbucks, pay in advance, get a little barcode, throw it in that email, send it out to them. They take that barcode to Starbucks on the 10th and then get a free coffee on me. That kind of thing. Something different. Do something different. You also have the customized fields. You can create these now. I've played with this a little bit only because we used to use Outlook years ago, and I had customized Outlook, and which isn't a normal thing to do. Most people just take it and leave it like it is. But I had customized it so we had action dates. When am I going to contact them next time, right? And that's one of the things in here you could actually set up as well. Integrations. On this one, I don't have anything set up on it. Here's your key. This is your key for those of you that's with me still. Offered leads. Where do you want to get leads from? So here's your market area, right? This is for you. This is specifically for you. The other stuff we did before was for the profile for Remax and etc. This is for you, your market area. You can have 10 zip codes. And again, don't put one zip code in 10 times. You don't need to do that. This is for you. Leads from the team, the office, or multi-office websites, or from remax.com. Where are these leads going to come from? If you have something in one of those zip codes, that's what you'll get. Now, here's an important one right here where it says filter the leads by type. If I don't want rentals in here, if I don't want to get rental leads, uncheck it. Don't complain about it. Just uncheck it. And you won't get any more. I promise you. I've played with this part of it, and it works all the time. Townhomes, condos, I have them unchecked, but excuse me, I primarily use this just for class. So some of this isn't, if I was actually doing it, I'd probably have everything on here marked. I would probably have everything on here marked just because. I'll take any lead anytime. I'll take it and work with it from there. Set a price range. You can actually set a price range. Not something I would recommend, but I know agents that say I will not work with anything below X amount of dollars. In fact, I used to have an agent in the previous office. She would not work with anything below 150,000, period. Not going to touch it. And there's another one that said 200,000. Text message notifications, your phone number has to be in here. If you want to get text messages, when we were talking about the notifications up here, if you want to get those text messages, we need to have your phone number in here. Has to be in here. You will not get those text messages. Any questions there? All right, so again, we are underneath the settings page, and right now what we're looking at is contacts and leads. So let's go to the next one, which is deals. The deals that you have on this one is going to be tied to your MLS. Your MLS automatically feeds into this system. This is your contact management system. You don't need to go pay some other company to provide the information to you. All you need to do is set this up. And once you have it set up, then it's off and running and it's working its own way. Again, you have notifications in here. You decide what you want to do with it. You have integrations. You can actually integrate this into zip form. So I can do my transactions in zip form will match up. So I have MLS coming in. I have a listing, my listings in zip form, and everything's all connected. It makes it so much easier for you if you'll just set it up that way. And then integrated, like here, for example, new deal defaults, I have no, because of the fact that I deal with you guys, right? If I have yes on here, I would have all those transactions in here, and I don't we don't need to do that. But this is on deals, and if you mark yes, it will sync for you. So the next one is your inbox. Let me go back to that deals real quick. On the right hand side here, it's manage integrations, and this is part of the integration as well. And I think it was last week when we were talking about technology or social media. I think it was Norma Turkington that jumped in, and she mentioned that she gets stuff from Zillow. If you have a Zillow, and all of us should have a basic Zillow page set up, if you are paying Zillow, then you certainly need this taken care of. You want to link the two of them together. Realtor.com. Every one of us should have Realtor.com integrated into this. And then if you're using BombBomb or any of that, you want to link that in as well. All right, so we have that. All right, are you guys, everybody still there? Okay.
Yes, Mac.
Thank you. All right, right here underneath where it says the profile and you have settings, that's what we click to start with. We are going to go to deals, right? Setting page deals. And that's what we're working through right now. We've talked about this aspect of it. We talked a little bit about notifications, and we talked about integrations and integration settings. When I go to manage integrations, did you guys see how that changed? So I go to integration settings, manage integrations. And you see where it says impersonation right here? Right here, it says allow administrators in my office to impersonate my account. I wouldn't just arbitrarily mark that, but if you need help with something, if you click yes, and I'm not real sure how this is, I think I have access to only the Harlingen and Mission offices. Harlingen, Mission, Port Isabel, I think. But if that's the case, then Carrie and Nina would have access to Corpus Christi. I think that's the way it is. And I say that because up here at the top where it has agents, I have a role of either working with Remax Elite, main office, it says, or as an agent. But if you click on it, impersonate, it will allow them to go in and do some of the things that we just talked about to help you get this set up. And as a new agent, that might be a good thing. If you need help with it, let me know, and we'll do what we can. You can also link this stuff to your Facebook and of course onto Google. And this is, we were under settings and we went to deals. And from deals, we did integration settings, and manage those integrations. And that's where this comes in at impersonation. And then we also have the third party. We have these impersonation and third party scripts. Everybody good there? All right. If you need help with it, let me know. A lot of moving parts to it, but once it's set up, it rocks. There's agents doing an absolutely phenomenal job with this. One of the agents that had the most leads the other day on that sheet that I was looking at, I want to say last year she had 79 leads from Remax. she's an agent who's been in the business for years, but is not real tech savvy. So she hired somebody to set this up for her, get everything all set up. And she's that 79 came from, I think it was remax.com, but she also had like another 50 from somewhere else and another 40 from somewhere else. So there's leads out there, but you have to have the system set up. Email signatures. You can have as many email signatures as you want. Over on the right-hand side, you can add a signature. And the reason for this is when you're emailing out through the system, through your CRM or through the website, you want it to actually match what everything's together, right? And that's what we want to work off of. So you can add a signature. You can see I have several in here just messing around with it. I've always done that. When I was in Outlook, I had 5 different signatures. I had one for new buyers, one for sellers, one for new buyers, one for buyers that are already in the system. I had one for sellers. I had one for Texas Realtors, and I had one for family and friends, close family and friends. Right. So they were all different signatures. Like, for example, family and friends, I'm not going to put all designations and all that stuff on there. I don't need it. It's just a quick note, right? You don't need all that. And then text messaging. You can actually text message through this system. It's a CRM if you'll use it, but you have to click on enable text messaging, and it's going to generate. Can you guys see that box that just opened up? Enable text messaging. Everybody see that okay? Let me make sure it's on the screen. Yeah, it's on the screen. Okay. So on here, once you click enable, this will actually generate, once enabled, you will not be able to change the phone number, right? But it'll generate a phone number for you that you can use through your CRM. So when you click generate, whoops, I'm sorry, desired area code, generate, and there's me a phone number. There's Mia. There's a phone number I can use through this system. So if somebody dialed if I click enable at the bottom, if somebody was to text that number, it would come to my phone, right? Once I clicked on accept. But once you click accept, you can't change it. So you need to make sure that you're okay with it. Let's try 361, for example. All right, so there's a text message, a text phone number I can use. This is for text messaging. And down here is where you want it forwarded to. That's your number. And then you click enable. And anytime somebody's texting, they can text that number instead of your number, and it'll go right to your phone. The benefit there is it tracks it through the system. So I can be sitting here at my desktop and send out a text message to you through the system once this is set up. So I don't have to use my phone for it, and et cetera. It's pretty cool, in my opinion. That's in the inbox. Legal, we don't need that. We'll do that. Libraries, messages. These are your libraries. This is the library for the different things that are out there that you can use as far as newsletters and et cetera. So you can set that up and so that you're able to use it. And then actually incorporate it into some of your drip campaigns if you wanted to. You can create a message here. So for example, if I wanted to, if I had a first-time home buyer, just talk to them on the phone, I input their information, and I can send them this message. But it's a standard message. Everybody gets the same thing. It allows you to be more organized in trying to get the information out that you need to get out. But that's under libraries. Then you have system. We've talked about this part already, and task. Task is something that's already set up for you. A little bit, and you can add to it if you want to. So up at the upper right, it says add a task plan. Well, let's take a look at, for example, you have a new buyer. You just meet somebody and they're a new buyer. Here's 6 tasks for them. It's already set up. So if you'll use the task, assign the task to the buyer, and you put them into the system, it will tell you when something's due. So you don't have to keep adding to it, right? And then you go to, and again, you can add to this if you want to, or you have task automation. So if you create something new, this is set up if a contact, for example, is added, then apply. And I have the 8x8 in here just as an example. And for those of you that's not familiar with that, the 8x8 is where you reach out, you put somebody into the system, they get something from you on a regular basis. 8 weeks, eight items, 8 weeks, something of that nature. All right. But task plans allows you to do that. And you see on the seller side right here, there's 22 in here. 22 different tasks in this system. And they're all things that we need to do, but most of us take it from memory. And we don't need to do that. It's all right here in task. Any questions on that one? All right, so I'm going to go back to contacts and leads. And we're going to spend just a little bit of time here because we've covered the settings. So you guys, that's the first thing. You need to get the settings done. And I don't want to get crazy with this, but do the settings, get the settings set up and work from that aspect. If I just met you today, this is my contacts and leads. You have so many different ways to do this stuff. Set up auto email. You can set up auto email for these individuals. You can import, add or import, and you can actually import if you have something in, like for example, like I said, we used to use Outlook all the time. So I downloaded Outlook into a CSV file, downloaded Outlook into a CSV file, and then uploaded it here. If you're going to do that, please take a look at what they have, because they tell you on this window right here, there's a download template and it has to match. So, which is easy, because when you download it from Outlook or Google or whatever, and you put it in an Excel spreadsheet, all the information's in there. All we're talking about here for matching is the headers. So instead of saying last name, it may say LM or LN, for example, right? So just make it match. Otherwise, the system will not accept it. And I've done that so many different times already, and it's just getting it set up. It works really easy. So I meet you today. I come over here. I click on Add Import. I'm going to add an individual. This window opens up, and let's say I want to add Lucy in here, for example. That's on the top left of my screen right there. So Rockstar, we're going to call you a Rockstar. We're going to do that. And we can have other tags in here. So let's say we wanted to go new agent. There we go. Let's do that one. And not necessarily new anymore, but we'll tag that in here. New agent. All right. Then you plug in their phone number, whatever their phone number is. That's not good. Label it, their email address, I'm just doing it for an example. Right. And then the label. If there's a custom label you want to create, you can do that at that point as well. Then you just click on add. Now she'll get added into the system. She'll get added into the system. And then from there, you could take, there it is. Right. And you see how the tags are already there. So on the right-hand side, here's the email and here's the text. I don't have that text set up. I showed you that, right? If I had the text set up, I could text her right from here just by clicking on that, or I could open it up and now her whole file is going to be there. So this is your CRM. This person is now in the system, and I can email, I can call, I can text, Here's your actions. What do you want to do with it? Here's your log. So if I do everything through this system, then it'll keep track of all of our contact information. Everything, every time we talk, every time something goes on, it'll keep track of all this. And you notice on the left-hand side, there's everything that goes with this person. So here's the details that I may have on them. Here's your inbox, any activity you've had, your campaigns. What campaigns do you have set up with them? And if you don't have a campaign set up, you can set one up right here. Any of the deals. So if they write an offer, that's going to show up here. And remember, it's tied to your MLS. So if that person, if that seller is in your CRM and you get that new listing, it's going to bring those together. So you'll have everything right here. So you'll be able to track right here. What's really cool is, let's say Lucy was a seller. So MLS is going to feed that listing in as soon as I put it in. It's going to feed it over to my system under deals. So I have open, right? And then if I send her an email, it's going to show up with all this. So I'll be able to track all of our conversations. So anytime we have, I need to call them or I need to do something, everything for that person is right here. I don't have to go looking for it somewhere else. If I need to add a deal, I can add a deal in, right? On this form, it'll allow me to do that. Sync with zip form. And again, I told you I have it off because of this. It will pull your information from zip form. I've played with this thing several times in it, but the deal name, it could be 123 A Street. It's a CRM. It'll track everything that you do with this person for you. And your expected commission. So you know that builds your pipeline. So you can see what you have going on and everything. It's an awesome system. There's your listings, search activity. If they're doing search, if you're using the app and you're sharing that the way you're supposed to, it'll actually show up information here as well. Household. What if I have a husband and a wife and I have both of them in the same system? So I can click here to create a household. And when I do that, I can add whoever that other person is, add a member right here on the right-hand side, add a member. So if I had, let's say I met Lucy and then later on I met her husband, I put her husband in, but they're two separate entries. Here I can bring them together. Or like in a couple of cases where we knew a couple for a long, long time, and then they split. So I can split that household right here. So you manage everybody you know in this system. You have your notes, you have your history on them, and it works really well. Any questions? All right, I wanted to open one up that I've messed with quite a bit so you can see what I was talking about as far as tracking everything. So here's and I've just played with this and put different things in, but you can see this is what I'm talking about. It tracks all contact information, all your activities, everything you've done with that individual basically within the system. And on the right-hand side, for example, if I click inbox, because this shows email here 2 years ago, right? Inbox, I click inbox, it's going to take me over here to here's what's been sent out. So I can actually see what those messages are as well. Okay. Everything, it's pretty cool. Any questions there? All right. Let me wrap up one other thing in here real quick. Then one of the contact aspect of this and using this as your CRM is really important, in my opinion, because most of us don't have a way to track the people we meet. Everybody you meet should be going into your system. Every time you leave your house, every time you leave your office, you should be prospecting. Everyone you meet, I don't care if they say they're going to buy a house in 2 years, they have no interest in buying a house, could they be a source for referrals? So everybody you meet should go in the system. You can weed them out later, but initially everybody should go into the system. Is the way it should work. On here, the website right here at the top. If you'll click on website and dashboard, website and dashboard, you notice this says mine is unpublished, right? Because again, I use this for training. but I want you to see a couple little things here. Setting up the website is so easy. And if you don't have it set up, go in here and just get a basic one set up, and then we can go from there. Or if you need help with it, again, let me know. And I might, over the next few weeks, I might throw something in where we just work on the website specifically. But right here at the bottom, just as an example, mobile app branding. So if my website is published, I can plug in your phone number down here and click text. And what you're going to get is an app with my contact information and the website, basically. And it's going to allow you to do property searches, likes, dislikes, all that other good stuff. I need more information, and all of it's going to come from my website app because I use this phone number in here. And they've made this, one of the things they've recommended is that you do this and send, once your website's set up, once it's published, what they've recommended is you actually, and this came from R4, I think is where I got it at, plug your own phone number in here and send this to yourself. And that way, if you're out and about and you run into somebody and you get a lead, you want to actually send them this, you can actually just send them the one you have saved on your phone, the one you sent to yourself. It's a quick way of doing it, but the other part of it is, in my opinion, I'd rather do it the other way, personally, just because I want to be able to track them. So I want them in the system and then send the information out. But if you're looking for quick and easy, that way it works. Plug your information in here, send it to yourself, save it, and then that way, every time you meet somebody and they say they're interested, just forward that to them, let them click on it and go from there. It's not going to track them individually, as well as it would if it came from here. On here, you want to set up your website. So that's the website dashboard. You go to website pages. Here's all the different pages that are in there. Now, there's some little things on this that have not been integrated in that Remax is working on. One of them is having a local page, right? One that's actually labeled as local page. However, I created this page here for myself. It's called For Sale by Owners, For Sale by Owner Properties. And I just demoed that you can go in here and these are all editable. Yeah, you can edit all of these. Not you can edit them for each one of them. And so these boxes are the parts of or pages of your website. They're the pages for your website. And this can go pretty deep. But if you wanted to add a page, you can do that. You create a new page, create one from templates. You also have templates, you have reviews, you have domain manager. Domain manager, if you own a domain, which I'd highly recommend you go get, highly recommend. And you can get a domain from several different sources. We use GoDaddy, but if I was doing it today as a new agent, and what I would recommend to you is you go to get.realtor, and you buy a domain name that has your name in it. So for example, it may say CarrieMcDonald.realtor. That's your domain name. And get.realtor, if you go in there and you take a look at it, you can get that set up. It's free for the first year. And then after that, I think it's $39 a year, which is comparable. I mean, it's not bad compared to what GoDaddy does. We pay GoDaddy quite a bit of money over the years, every year, actually, because we have everything already set up there. But get.realtor is tied to NAR. And if you use realtor at the end, then it has to meet the realtor guidelines, which means it has to be your name. So for example, for me, when I set it up, I had to use HenryMcFarland.realtor. I don't use that. I've never used that. But they also have .real estate. So on .real estate, I could use MacMcFarland.real estate. I could use Corpus Christi agent. I might want to be careful with that one. But anyway, repo agent, whatever you want it to be. Buy, sell, Corpus Christi real estate. You can, that one will allow you to do just about anything. Just make sure you're doing it staying legal. But the dot realtor has to be in line with NAR's trademark requirements. But anyway, a domain manager will allow you to do this. My wife has had a website for several years with one company. And when she joined Remax, I moved it, and this became available. I moved that website over to the website manager for Remax. And the directions that are on here, even though I felt pretty tech savvy, when I looked at the directions, it was like, I don't want to mess anything up, because I don't want to terminate that website and not have this one running. So I actually called GoDaddy, and when I told them about it, they just laughed. They go, here, let me do it. And 10 minutes later, we're up and running. And I was able to delete the other website and stop paying for it on a monthly basis, because this is built in. You don't pay extra for this. And agents are out there paying for websites, and you can get leads, you can generate leads. Like I said, there's an agent, actually she's in Harlingen, who's getting a ton of leads off of her website and the systems she has built up, right? So please use this. Website settings. Again, here's some of the things that you might have on your website, so you can take a look at them. You want to be able to go in and take a look at your website, see what's going on with it, and generate leads from it. So on the website, for example, about me, featured listings, you can have that. You can have your featured listings, you can have additional listings. And here is something I would highly recommend. At the bottom, it says included listings. You can show only yours. Even as a top producer carrying about 30 listings, I would not have done that. Because it's about the brand, right? But I am loyal to the office. So just like this setting is, I'm not going to promote another Remax in the area. I'm not going to do it. So I would have it just set up just like this, show my listings and the office listings all day long. One of the reasons why mine is not published is down here on the bottom. You have to upload the Trek notice, and that's the information about brokerage services. And once you upload that, and all you do is you just click on it, you download information about brokerage services, you save that someplace, Google Drive, Dropbox, wherever, and then you upload it into this. Once it's uploaded, it'll tell you that you're ready to publish for your website. All right. So on the website, when you're going in to create it, you see these blocks that are on the left-hand side. And there's actually classes in Remax University where it'll actually walk you through this, or there's tech classes they hold all the time. So this is what my basic website would look like as it is right now. However, the boxes that are on the left-hand side, you can add or you can delete them, or you can move them around. You can do whatever you want to with them. You can add a block to it if you wanted to. And whatever that block is, you select it, add it in, move it around, whatever. So every one of these, so when I go to preview here about Remax, for example, preview about Remax, it's going to give me a chance to see this is what it looks like. That's what we're talking about. So then when I go back to the pages here, how do I want it set up? And it gives you a chance to edit that. Once you look at it, you can edit it, figure out which way you want it, and go from there. And every one of them is like that. And this is the one I created on, and I have no idea where that QR code even takes you right now, or if it takes you anywhere. I forgot about that. Let's see if it takes you anywhere. Oh, yeah. Cool. I know exactly what I did with that now. Yeah. Awesome. So anyway, you can go in and set these up and work with them with any way you want to. The biggest part is getting it published for you. And let me just, that QR code takes us to this website. And I'll just show this to you real quick. This once I got in and I started playing with it, and started playing with it. Setting this up doesn't take a whole lot. There's additional things that could be done with it. Like, for example, I have her Facebook on here and stuff, but I don't have her Facebook over here on the side, which would probably be great if she was active on Facebook, but she's not. Some of you are, where you're posting stuff on a regular business basis. You have a Facebook business page where you're posting things. So that would be, I would have that over here instead of these possibly, right? And then the same thing with videos. You can upload videos and et cetera in there, and you can make that work. On here, where it says Trek Consumer Notice and Trek Information, the consumer notice is put on there by the region, right? The Trek Information, that's that one that was on the left-hand side. And I said, you can't publish it until you have it up there. On hers, and I'll show you on hers, I didn't understand exactly what it was wanting. So you notice on hers, it has 2 pages. It has her information about brokerage services and this one, which is the old one. I didn't take that off there. And I put that on there because when I uploaded it, because it said Trek Information, I uploaded both of them because I know both of them are supposed to be there. What I didn't know at the time was that the consumer protection notice was already on there from the region, right? So we have that. Right. Anybody have any questions about this? A lot of information on a Friday morning. So the goal today was to touch base on the CRM part, which we did. We spent a good portion of it on the CRM. The CRM is so important. It's managing your contacts, Everybody you know should be in your system. And if you're using some other system, that's up to you. Almost every one of the nationwide instructors, almost every one of us, if you ask what's the best CRM, they will tell you the best one is the one you'll use. Don't pay for something and then not use it. And that's my deal with this one is this is provided. This is part of what Remax provides. This is a part of belonging to that franchise. This is a part of your dues that you pay Remax. So, excuse me. So why not use it? And I've got to tell you, it's my second franchise, and I've not seen the technology the way this Remax has it built out. And what's crazy is they continue to build. They've got so many more things they're working on. It's amazing. But let's get the basics set up. If you need anything, let me know. Everybody good? All right. Any questions?
Thank
Comments? AC, you good?
you. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Great. If you guys are in here and you do need any help with any of this besides myself, they actually have the tech news down here is really good for information purposes. You also have Remax University, but product support, if you go there, they should be able to help you with anything else you need. One of the issues with it is that sometimes when you go to product support, you have to submit a ticket, and it may take a little bit to get a response. But if you're patient with them, you'll get a response from them. The other thing is I've shared social media sites where you can also get questions answered on a pretty regular basis. That's like Remax Technology on Facebook. You can get responses there as well. Probably a little faster maybe than you can through this system here on occasion. Remember, they're not just helping us, it's international. So they have a lot of activity going on. But anyway, you guys have a great Friday, a good Friday. And happy Easter to everybody. All right. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Mom, could you still have some of those tater tots?